The end of April and the start of May is around the time where a lot of people decide to give up on FIFA Ultimate Team and give some of the other modes on FIFA a go. I've of course been a huge fan of Career Mode for many years, so in today's video I've got a bunch of tips for people who are interested in moving from Ultimate Team into Career Mode and maybe have never played the game mode before. I've split this up into 15 different tips in 4 different sections, so feel free to skip along the bottom if there's a certain area of the game you want a little bit more information about. Of course, check out all the other playlists and videos on my channel too, because there's a lot more in-depth videos on each one of these. This is more of a quick run through of all my favourite tips for beginners on the game. We're going to be beginning with the youth area of the game, something you don't really have to think about if you're playing online modes or Ultimate Team. The first tip is to do the training manually the first time you load the save. If you do the training each time it comes up and get an A grade, it will make your players develop a lot faster, and of course you'll actually get to know some of your players' abilities for shooting, dribbling and defending, which is very useful for beginning out with a new club. You should also invest time in younger players and not just your best 11. Coming from Ultimate Team, this might be strange where you're playing the same team every single match, but sometimes you should run a weaker team rather than your best 11 players just to keep them fresh for more important games. Look at younger, cheaper players on the transfer list as well. Not only can you develop them and sell them for a lot more money than you bought them for, but it's also a good way to give these players a second chance in your career mode. The Youth Academy is another thing you should know about because it's a really easy way to make boosted players. It's easy to fill your Youth Academy with 90 potential players who will usually reach that rating, so make sure you're taking advantage in every single save. If you want to know a bit more about potential and the Youth Academy, make sure you click the card in the top right of the video right now where I've made a more in-depth video about how the entire system works. Moving from youth into your team and squad rotation. One of the most important things you need to do is rotate your players to keep them sharp. Not only the young players, but you should give minutes to anyone you plan on playing on the bench or having any game time at all. Having a sharp player can boost the stats by up to 6 or 7 points, which can be really important, especially if you're in lower league. You could be effectively getting 70 rated players from your 67 rated players, which is a massive improvement if you're playing in League 2. You also need to decide what kind of career mode you'd like to do. Are you planning on building a team up, or are you going to chase success straight away? If you can decide this before you start your career mode, you'll have a good idea of what kind of players you need to play, which ones you need to start in your squad, and which ones you should develop on training. Another little piece of advice is that you should probably pick a team you know about in real life for your first couple of saves. It doesn't have to be your favourite team. For example, if you support PSG and you think that might be too easy, but you know a lot about the Lyon squad, maybe pick them instead. Likewise, if you're in England, you're a Man United fan and you know a bit more about Salford as well, maybe go for them if you fancy a more easy lower league save. Moving away from the team and squad and moving on to fun and realism, which is something this channel is a big advocate for, you're going to need to use preseason to experiment with difficulty if you want to have a fun career mode. If you've been playing a lot of Ultimate Team and you've been playing squad battles, you'll know you probably just pick the difficulty you can win 5-0 on very easily. If you're playing career mode, this is absolutely not the way to go. Career mode is more fun when it's a challenge, so make sure you aren't winning 9-0 every single week. Preseason's a good way to do this by having teams that are a similar level to you and you can experiment easily with no repercussions at all. Another tip I've got is that you shouldn't expect to win every single game. With the squad battles example that I just gave, you're probably expecting to win every single time you load the save up. But unless you're Arsenal in 2004, you shouldn't be expecting to go unbeaten every single season. If you're restarting games when something unfair happens just to make sure you win, you will probably make career mode get more boring than it should be. Learn to take the ups with the downs and you will have a more fun and probably more realistic career mode. A last tip for fun and realism is that if you are finding the game a little bit too tough or maybe a little bit too easy, consider using sliders to fine-tune the AI ability. Certain sliders have more impact than others. For example, if you turn the sprint speed down for the opponents and it up for you, if you're finding it a bit too hard, then your players will get to more 50-50s, you'll be able to run through on goal and have easier chances. If you do something like lowering the AI and yourself's passing ability, then again you might have to dribble more often and that'll be more important to the game. It's a good way to fine-tune the AI to make it exactly what you want, and you can even try and make the game more realistic by using sliders from somewhere like Operation Sports. Now the last couple of tips in this video are all more general ones based around the career mode rather than gameplay or squads. My first tip is going to be save more regularly than you're used to. If you've been playing Ultimate Team, you'll know that every single transfer you make is final. You can't get that player back once you've sold him for the wrong amount of money. Career Mode isn't quite that hardcore. If you are saving and you realise you have made a mistake that you didn't mean to do, then feel free to just reload the save and you can do it again. You can use this to fix any mistakes. You can be transfers, scouting, youth development, even contract negotiations or moving club. If you don't like what you've done, there is no need to stick with your mistake. If you want to have more fun, then you can just go back and fix it. Another good piece of advice is to read the help tips as they pop up. Almost every screen on Career Mode has some good visual information that tells you exactly what to do that can't be found anywhere else once you've closed them. So if you do have a massive pop-up that shows up when you enter the transfers for the first time or the youth academy or in your squad page, then read them and make sure you take in every little word that's on there, because a lot of this is hidden information that isn't very easy to find. And the final tip is, no matter how badly you do, you can't totally lose the game. You'll always get offers from worse teams, and this is your chance to build your way back up. You can actually use this if you do fancy managing a worse team. Maybe you've won everything as Manchester United or PSG. You can set a release clause of a player to £0. This instantly gets you fired, and then you get offered worse teams in the same league. It's a cool way to do this, but for beginners, it's just a really good safety net. That means you don't have to worry about the choices you really make. You have to learn from them, and maybe next time you'll get them right, but the first time you do them, if you do mess up really badly, you'll just continue in the same game world, and there's no reason that you can't take over that team that you were first managing. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. As I mentioned at the start, I've got tons of videos about Career Mode on this channel, some of them more informative, some of them team and league guides if you're looking for a team to pick. So make sure you check out my playlists on my channel, and I'm sure you'll find something very interesting, and hopefully I'll help you enjoy Career Mode a little bit more. Hopefully you're going to be a new Career Mode fan just like me and everyone subscribed to this channel is, so make sure you like the video if you want to be part of it, and subscribe if you want more Career Mode to be notified on your YouTube. Thank you for watching so much, and I'll see you very soon for another video on the Geografifa channel. Thank you, and goodbye.